How are we supposed to do quality work when we are missing what we need? Patients in pain, financial pressures, physical strains, perfectionism, and yet we are expected to stay positive, pleasant, and precise. You can love your career and still need a break. That doesn't make you ungrateful. It makes you human. Self-care is maintenance, not luxury. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Real Talk Beyond the Dental Chair. I am your host, Inma. And today we're going to start with a quote that we usually say among us hygienists, and is you can't pour from an empty scaler. And of course, we joke about it, but when your battery is drained, even the suction starts sounding judgmental. Today, we are going to talk about something most dental professionals experience, but few talked about honestly, and that is burnout. And I'm not talking about just being tired after a long day. I mean, that deep, quiet exhaustion that follows you home into your weekend, into your dreams, where you are still period charting at 2 in the morning. And if you are not in dentistry, stay with me. Burnout doesn't care what kind of job title it is, whether you are behind a computer, teaching, parenting, or just running your own business, it feels the same. The spark fades, and what once gave you joy is starts feeling heavy. Let's rewind a few years. I used to love my job. The smell of the cleaning products, the hum of the ultrasonic cleaner, the satisfaction of a perfectly polished molar. But little by little, something changed. At first, I blamed the schedule. It's just this week, 9 patients in a row. Then it became, is this the office? Once I moved, I'll be better. But truthfully, it was me. I was constantly saying yes. Yes to double booking. Yes to staying late. Yes to skipping breaks. I wore exhaustion like a badge of honor. And my body said, okay, if you won't stop, then I'll make you. So headaches started to show up. Coming home, sitting in silence, staring at my scraps, thinking, I can't do this again tomorrow. And yet every morning I'd smile, put on my loops, and say, good morning, like nothing happened. That's the dental Olympics phase. We're all gold medalists and pretending we're fine. One of my biggest burnout triggers, and I don't know about for you, but when they change my lunch hour without asking, and I know that this sounds like maybe it's so little, but let me tell you what, when they change your schedule without telling you, because that is not just that they're moving your lunch to squeeze an extra patient as if my time did not exist. I have worked in really good offices. But there was this one in particular where I had nice coworkers, good patients, but they had the habit of rearranging my schedule without even telling me. Sometimes I'll find out an hour before, other times not at all. They just move my lunch to squeeze in an extra patient or move it around or whatever that might be. They feel like consulting with me. It was not a big deal, right? But now listen, lunch isn't an extra. It's survival. That 1 hour is sacred. That's when we walk away and disconnect. I'll go to my car, eat something quick, close my eyes for a few minutes. Sometimes I had to schedule a new appointment or meet a friend for coffee. Just a tiny reminder that there is life beyond the operatory, right? So when someone decides to move that time without asking, it's not just inconvenient, it is disrespectful, right? It sends the message your recharge doesn't matter. And when we say no to that change, it's not because we are being difficult or unhelpful. It's because that time was already spoken for. And honestly, it keeps us functional too. For the most part, I will be okay to change my lunch time, but sometimes I already have plans for that hour, and it wasn't just taking a nap. So I know that it's a little thing, but Little things eventually, when they become habits, it kind of is started to be annoying. So, to any manager listening, never ever mess with a hygienist lunch without warning. We can handle calculus, blood, and back-to-back SRPs, but skip or break, and you'll see what real plaque buildup looks like. And I understand that things happen sometimes, and like I say, moving around lunch, it's okay, but just give us heads up, okay? Because we might have plans, and for us to change those plans might be difficult, if not impossible, at last minute. If you give us heads up, then, like I say, we're pretty flexible and we try to work with the office, but please realize that our time is our time too, right? So that is just one example of how little things add up. The constant rushing, the perfectionism, the need to please everyone, it slowly chips away at you. Another huge trigger for burnout, and I know a lot of hygienists will relate to this, is not having the right tools or time to do your job properly. I have working offices where the instruments were so dull, you could have used them as butter knives. How are we supposed to do quality work when we are missing what we need? You spend half of your day fighting with your tools, and by the end, your hands, wrists, and patience are all shot. And then there is the consultation problem. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You finish your prophy, the dentist comes in for the exam, and somehow it turns into a full on consultation in your room. Meanwhile, your next patient is sitting outside watching the clock, wondering, why are you running late? The kicker is you get talked to for running behind. That is always funny. It's like, excuse me, how can you stay in a schedule when half of it isn't in your control? I think that not too many dentists do that, but I have known several that I would do that. And I understand, right, that the patients have questions and they want to answer. Just don't answer on my chair, please. Take them to another room, another operatory. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons so many hygienists feel disrespected. Not because we don't love our patients or of our doctors or the people that we work with. We absolutely do. But because we're constantly being placed in situations where our time and professionalism aren't valued equally. And that has to change. We need to start saying no. This room isn't for consults. If the doctor needs extra time to talk, move the patient to another operatory or schedule a proper consult appointment. Because when we finally walked out to get to the next patient, that person doesn't know what just happened. They just see a hygienist who's late. We carry the stress, the blame, and the guilt for things we didn't cause. And that's a recipe for burnout. Respect in the workplace isn't it about compliments or pizza lunches. It's about structure, communication, and fairness. And I did have this office that my dentist actually told me, if I started to run my mouth and run you behind, please let me know, like discreetly, like kick me on my foot so I know that you gotta go. And that works out actually really well because every time that I did it, he would just excuse himself and leave or take the patient somewhere else, which it was kind of nice. So it is something that I think that it should be put to practice as some kind of clue that you can give to your doctor discreetly that says, we got to wrap this up. Anyway, when those things are missing, and I'm talking about communication and, structure, when they are missing, even the best clinicians will eventually hit a wall. Something else that doesn't get talked about enough is how deep this goes. Burnout isn't just about being tired. It can become real mental health struggles. There is a high rate of depression and even suicide in the dental community. I don't know if you knew that. And it is heartbreaking, but not surprising. We are trained to stay composed, professional, and calm. even when our own mental health is unraveling. We bottle things up, put on that calm, I'm fine mask, and tell ourselves we can't handle it. But that silence is what eats away at us. We are surrounded by stress, patients in pain, financial pressures, physical strains, perfectionism, and yet we are expected to stay positive, pleasant, and precise. That takes a toll. That's why I believe it's so important we start talking about it. Talk to your colleagues, talk to your friends, talk to a therapist. Don't wait until it's too late to carry along because no job, no matter how much you love it, is worth losing yourself over. And if you're listening and this is close to home, please know you're not alone and help exists in the US. You can call or text 988. That is the suicide and crisis lifeline for free. Confidential support 24/7. Real strength isn't in silence, it's speaking up. It's saying, I'm not okay, and getting the support you deserve. We give so much compassion to others. It's time to give some to ourselves, don't you think? Well, recovery is never cute or quick. It's not like a spa day and an inspirational quote. It's messy, uncomfortable, and humbling. So this is what it helped me overcome this feeling of being always so tired and thinking if I chose the right career. I stopped over identifying with my job. For so long, my whole identity was Ima the hygienist. Now I remind myself that I'm also a creator, a business owner, a friend, a human who loves her family and her patria. When people ask what I do, I say I help people smile and I build things that make their lives easier. That a small shift gave me permission to exist beyond the dental chair. I learned to say no. No to last minute schedule changes. No to squeezing just one more patient. No to guilt. Boundaries aren't selfish. They're oxygen. I built something creative. That's how Eyeliner Up was born. That project reignited my spark and reminded me that innovation and dentistry can coexist. I started talking about it. Once I opened up, I realized so many others were quietly drowning too. We share patient stories all day, but rarely our own struggles. Talking about it brings healing and community. I found joy in the small things again. Good music while setting up trays, coffee before my first patient, laughing when suction makes that oops noise instead of dying inside. Joy doesn't need to be big, it just needs to exist. Here is what I want you to remember: you can love your career and still need a break. That doesn't make you ungrateful. It makes you human. Self care is maintenance, not luxury. Stretch, hydrate, rest. Just like we tell our patients to floss daily, we need daily recovery. Audit your time and energy. Write down what's draining you and what fills you up. If you're constantly feeding the drainers, burns out, or it's already in the schedule, don't wait until your body forces you to stop. You don't need anyone's permission to rest or reinvent yourself. And if you are in it right now, you will heal. You're not broken. You're just tired. And tired can be fixed. Today, I'm still busy, but is balanced busy. I have learned to stop measuring my worth by how many patients I see or how many boxes I check. If you are listening while driving to work or folding scraps, take a deep breath with me. When you inhale, think that you're doing enough. And when you exhale, think that you deserve peace too. Okay? And if no one has told you today, I am so proud of you for showing up, for caring, and for wanting more for yourself. And to all the hygienists out there branching out, creating businesses, building products, starting podcasts, or chasing their dreams, I am so proud of you. Keep going, keep creating, keep proving that there's so many ways to make an impact in this profession. You are inspiring more people than you realize. Because dentistry is about helping others find their smiles. But we can't do that if we have lost ours. So protect your energy, your lunch, your mental health, and your joy. Because at the end of the day, you truly can't pour from an empty scaler. This has been Beyond the Dental Chair with Imma, reminding you to smile deeper, live longer, and take your break guilt free. Thank you so much for listening. And I will see you next week. If you want to hear more episodes like this one, please subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, you can always reach out to me. Just leave them in the comment area. And remember to enjoy life and smile big.